Good evening, and thanks again for joining us for night number 2 at Auto Club Speedway. We got some truck series action for you tonight. 70 laps out here in Fontana, California. I'm Greg Olenek, joined by Brandon Domain. As always, Brandon, how's it going, bud?
It is going pretty well. Excited to see how these truckers handle Auto Club. After that Cup Series race last night, bit of a rough start, but it thankfully got into a nice solid long run, and hopefully these truckers kind of figure that out from what they saw last night. We could see a lot of green flag racing tonight.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how they do, because we've been watching practice for a little while, Brandon, and they've had their troubles as well, like we saw the Cup cars having last night. But you're right, once they did get it figured out in Tuesday night's race, it was pretty good for the most part. You had your own share of troubles, Brandon, but tell us how it was overall out there. A big 2-mile oval, very fast track.
I tell you what, it was a whole lot more aggressive than I thought it was going to be early, especially with that kind of a distance of a race. I thought people were going to kind of sit back a little bit more, and my first ever Cup start in SRN, so I decided, you know what, I'm just going to start in the back and kind of let this play out, and it turned out to be pretty good. And worked my way up and got into a little late trouble, but I thought it was a great time. Had a lot of fun racing with everybody last night, and hopefully can do it again here soon.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes tonight for these guys. Looking like we got a pretty big field out there so far, around 35 trucks going to take part in tonight's race. But let's go ahead, check out those SRN Truck Series points standings after week number 9 at Dover Motor Speedway. Ryan Johnson still atop the board, 99 points to the good, and I've heard in maybe a week or so we might start getting some clinching scenarios. So Lane Doyle quietly there in second with 1 win to his name. Brad Herman third. Trevor Williams in fourth. Landy Cardullo in fifth. That battle, though, heating up down by the cut line, Brandon, a tie for 15th.
Yeah, that tie for 15th, going to extend it out one more position if the playoffs started tonight, as it's going right now, is Rob Yost Jr., Sean Jensick, who, Jensick, one of our race winners this season, sitting there just 5 points to the good. Important thing to note tonight, only the top 5 are safe from being able to say that they can leave tonight still above that cut line no matter what happens. 48 points, the maximum that can be made up.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, Byer can have a bad night. Maddox can have a bad night. Any of these guys can have a bad night after what we saw. So nobody is safe by any means necessary with 4 races left to go before we get to the playoffs. These are the guys, though, behind the cut line. Some big names sitting here, too, like Bobby Anderson, Jason Kratke. You got Josh Mueller, as well as Josh Fox and Jacob Zala there in the top 20. And a few other guys going to look to make up some points further on back.
There's a whole lot of speed still out here on page 2 and page 3. You bring up Bobby Anderson. I mean, he's sitting there just 5 points out. Jason Kratke had a great run last week, his first top 10 of the season. He's sitting there in 12 points out with a lot of momentum right now. You also got Mueller, Zala, Purnell, like guys that have speed out there. Just got to put together some good runs. My old rule of thumb, you can make up on average about 10 points a week, and that's reasonable. So I think once we start getting down to Dean Gagliano, Nathan Nixon, guys like that, that's where they're going to have to really be swinging for the fence.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen, and don't take your eyes off of Connor Cunningham tonight, because he had a very good run last night, finished top 10 in his first ever Cup Series start, so we'll see what he can do tonight in the Truck Series. You know, he's been running a few races with Tank Racing. So let's go ahead and check out those team championship standings after week number 9 at Dover. JW Racing just kind of running away with that number 1 seed. But Dark Tank there, number 2, kind of surprising us this season. A lot of new guys to the league, and they are pretty fast.
Yeah, for the second team for Tank Racing, they're sitting there second overall in the standings and putting together a really solid campaign thus far through these first 9 races. And they've opened up a pretty sizable margin over Jonathan Byer Racing, our defending team champions, who are sitting in third. But that race right now, third, fourth, fifth, and you can still count Stryker into that mix, so they are starting to fall a little bit. But that third through fifth race, that's going to sort out who's going to be facing the 6th seed and who's going to be facing each other. That is a tight race, just 15 points apart.
Yeah, battles all around the standing sheet. I mean, take a look at the 7 and 8 as well. That's going to be a very important battle, as you know, the 8 seed will go against the 1 seed, and that likely looking like it's going to be JW Racing, who's and nearly flawless this season. So Bobby Anderson Racing and Tank Racing going to be battling it out here tonight to try and not get that 8 seed. But, say Tank Racing does move up to 7th, Brandon. Look who they'd be racing there.
Possibly. Yeah, you were reading my mind.
Dark Tank Racing. And, hey, that's what this championship was all about. It's going to pin some rivals against each other and maybe some allies.
Hey, not wishing any ill will to Bobby Anderson Racing, but there is a part of me that kind of wants to see that battle for team supremacy inside their own building, their own virtual shop, basically, between Tank and Dark Tank. But we'll have to see how that plays out over the next month.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead quickly check out our sponsors here tonight. You got Silverback Tax Solutions. Any problems you got with the IRS, go ahead, check out Silverback Tax Solutions. Sparkle and Shine Mobile Detailing, go ahead, get you a nice little detail kit sent right to your door, or get them to do it in person if you're down around the Florida area. It's a great mobile detailing company. Butt Kicker coming on board here, and they're going to be sponsoring the Hard Charger Award. We'll get to that, as always, in just a second. And then TJ's Team Foundation at morethanacave.org. So let's go ahead, move on now, and see what these guys are racing for here. The old Butt Kicker Gamer 2 going to go to the winner of the Hard Charger Award in each series, Brandon. A nice piece of equipment.
Very nice indeed, and we talk about it all the time, but the big thing, you're sitting there, great piece of equipment, retails around a couple $100. That's a big prize for these guys that are trying to make their way through the field. Some guys making it kind of a point of interest for them every single week. We've got some guys that I don't think they've qualified outside of Daytona maybe in the first race, and they're just working their way through the field trying to pick up this prize and kind of running a race within the race.
Yeah, so you got Rabio still healthily at the top there, 16.67 average positions gained per week. So he's one of those guys that you mentioned probably starting in the back week in and week out, which is very dangerous, so he's got to be careful. You got Jason Cracky there in second with a 9.12 average, and then Kyle Lingerfeld there in third. So that's a look at the Butt Kicker Hard Charger Award as it stands after week number 9. So let's go ahead and move on to the Silverback Tax Solutions power rankings real quick, and things change it up a little bit here, Brandon. Last week's winner at Dover, Brad Herman, now at that number 1 spot.
Yeah, and him and Ryan Johnson just playing tennis with that number 1 spot as they've been rotating that 1-2 here the past few weeks after they've been trading wins throughout the last month of this season, equal in top 5s. Ryan Johnson does have the most bonus points this season, but the most top 10s, the most top 5s, tied for the most top 5s, I should say, is Brad Herman right there. So, you can make the case for either of those two. They are pretty neck and neck. Lane Doyle, we were talking about this off air. It feels like he's kind of cooled off, but he's still sitting there almost getting a top 10 every single week, just doing it under the radar a little bit. And one name that's really catching my eye, just because we don't talk about him a whole lot, but A.J. Pritchett sitting there in a well-deserved number 5 spot in the power rankings. Quiet season, just continuing to pick up good, consistent finishes.
Yeah, and Kyle Lingerfeld as well, looking really good out of Dark Tank Racing. Some new names up here. Blair Holloman also now in the top 10 with 3 of those top 5s. But Brandon, I want to go back to those top 2 guys. 6 top 5s in 9 races is not easy by any means, especially with these 40 truck fields that we usually have.
Absolutely, and you think about it, we have the 3 drop weeks. So what we're seeing now is if the season ended today, every single finish that would be scored for those 2 are inside the top 5. Just unbelievable the work that they've put in.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and quickly check out TJ's Team Foundation. We still have 1 minute left in qualifying, so we'll go ahead and tune these guys this morning a little bit, because this is a fantastic foundation, Brandon. Really helps out families fighting pediatric cancer, kind of take their mind off of some things and worry about what's going on.
Yeah, every little bit that you can donate or any awareness to the cause that you can share, please do. It's morethanacave.org is the website. They have all the information, but basically any donation that's made, it's going to go to the families of children that are battling childhood cancer and other illnesses, and just trying to help make the day-to-day things that people normally have to think about just be taken off their plate while they're having to deal with just such a tough situation.
Yeah, it's really cool that this has come out of something that unfortunately rocked the family, but Travis Anderson putting this together to help everybody out. It's a great thing, and we love having them on board here this season with Racing Network. So go ahead, check out that website. Once again, morethanacave.org. Go click that donate button and go ahead and give anything that you can. It'll help a lot. So qualifying all wrapped up, Brandon. Let's go ahead, head out there to the track. A beautiful night once again. I just love seeing this track lit up. It's not something I'm used to seeing. I mentioned this to you when we were practicing the other night, and you don't get to run Auto Club very much under the lights.
Not really. I mean, there's been a couple Indy races that either they were scheduled at night or they wound up being run at night for whatever reason. I just remember lights being on at Auto Club, but it is a rare situation. But it was so much fun. It makes the track more consistent. Real fast racetrack out there for these guys under the lights.
Well, there you see it. Like I said, race number 10 of 20 tonight at Auto Club. And I believe Andrew Harris, back-to-back poles for this man. I think he was on the pole for Dover last week, if I'm not correct, Brandon. And Sean Jensick just to his outside on row number 1. Lane Doyle and Brad Herman, row number 2.
In row 3, it'll be Bobby Anderson, the man that is just outside that cut line by 5 points. He'll be starting in position number 5. Lucas Lyons, not far out either, will be starting in position number 6. Jonathan Byer will be on the inside of row number 4 with Ben Park sitting on the outside.
Yeah, then you got Troy Techmeyer and Blair Holloman there, rounding out the top 10 to Zoo Yost Racing teammates. And then in row number 6, it's going to be James Kerr and Landon Cardulo. So that's a look at the starting order for tonight's race. 70 laps under the lights here at Auto Club. Let's go ahead and get down there on the track. That's a look at our pole sitter tonight, Andrew Harris. Pace car about to peel on off. Let's get down to business, Brandon. We talked about it before the race. Who you thinking you're picking here tonight?
Well, I like the desperation moments that you have at this time of the season. It shows if you're going to be a championship contender, if you're going to make the playoff, or if it's just going to be a struggle the rest of the way. Somebody in that position has had success here, and even though he's going to be starting near the back, I can tell you after a run last night, it is possible to move your way up. But starting in the 26th position, Jose Castellanos enters this race in 12th in points, just 24 points clear, needs to make up some room there to try to get a buffer away from that cut line. He won a recruitment race here that he and I went in. That was our first SRN race officially, so I think he can kind of recreate that here tonight.
Great pick. I was actually thinking about picking Jose as well. Looked very fast in practice, but starting 26th tonight, he's got to be careful not to get in too much trouble. But I'm looking forward to seeing how he does tonight. I'm going to go up a little further on up towards the front, and I'm going to take this 47 that we've been talking about all along this pre-race show. And Lane Doyle's just been quietly hanging around towards the front, but hasn't gotten that second win of the season. You know, he's had his teammate kind of overshadowing him in JW Racing, but Lane Doyle gets it done tonight. I think he's going to victory lane.
And not often you can say quietly sitting in second in the point standings, but that is where Lane is. He has just done a great job keeping that nose clean week in and week out. 7 top 10s in these 9 races. That is a safe pick right there.
Well, the pace car lights off as always. Just one pace lap around this 2-mile oval. I believe it's about to head on down pit road, and Andrew Harris is going to be waiting patiently to see that Silverback Tax Solutions green flag waving, and it is out here in Fontana. Let's get going, Brandon. 70 laps. Let's see who gets it done tonight.
And hopefully a cleaner start than we had last night with the flurry of early cautions, but everybody's still looking pretty content here to be patient into turns 1 and 2. Real problems here that kind of jump up and catch people. Exit of 2, exit of 4, the first couple of laps on these cold tires.
Yeah, so heading down the backstretch, Andrew Harris maintaining the lead right now. Sean Jensick still in second with that new look to that 29 out of Rat Pack Racing. But Lane Doyle taking a look to the inside of the 29 now. Battle for second.
Man, big time side-by-side racing. Little bit of a wiggle there, little loose for the 47 of Lane Doyle. Does a good job gathering that up, but he's going to fall back a couple of rows after he just scrubbed off maybe about 5 to 8 miles an hour trying to save that thing. He's going to come back up in line in front of Jonathan Byer, but that's going to push him into the 9th position here early.
Yeah, started up towards the front, and I mentioned it yesterday, Brandon. Cold tires here in any series is going to be very tough early on, so keep an eye on that all night long if we have a lot of restarts. But battle up towards the front. Andrew Harris being closely pursued by the 29 of Sean Jensick.
And you are watching the right track. It's not Daytona, it's not Talladega, but Auto Club and these trucks just winds up looking like that kind of a style of race. Maybe not as packed in as tight, but the draft with these super long straightaways becomes very important, and you're going to see that really be a separating factor. If once you start to lose that draft a little bit, it's just going to be such a challenge to try to make up that time. So if you're still inside striking distance, within drafting distance of this lead pack, you're still in a very good position in this race.
Well, Landon Cardulo in a very good position early on, up 7 already, taking a look to the inside of Lucas Lyons. Wow, going 3 wide with Brad Herman in the middle. Very tight right here. They get close and stay off each other. Wow, really tight moment there for some of our heavyweights here in the Truck Series, but they keep it going. We're on lap number 4 now.
I'm amazed that they kept it off each other. Great truck control by both Cardulo and Herman, as Cardulo kind of just washed up. He had to go in low, and he drove it deep into that turn at the same time. So I think Brad probably knew he was going to come up a little bit, gave a little bit of space. Landon, I think, maybe cracked the throttle a little bit more than he intended to on the exit, just to make sure he didn't run up anymore. Great early race driving there with that patience.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we might have overlooked Landon here in our picks as well. He is probably one of the hungriest drivers out there right now to get back at victory lane. Not doing so yet this season here in season 3. Last season was a little bit different as he went quite often in that number 13 Toyota Tundra. So we'll keep an eye on his progress all night long. Let's go ahead, head back here a little bit. This is Baden Park battling with Lane Doyle for 10th place. So the 47 not liking the handling on this truck early on, even though he qualified up towards the front. Maybe just setting himself up for this long run that seems to be playing out here early on.
And this might be something that catches some of these drivers off a little bit. You know, normally in these truck races, we have seen the tendency to see an early caution or two, and then it kind of gets a little bit more settled in. So there's going to be some guys that think maybe they come out aggressive and try to pick up some spots, set themselves up well if there are early cautions, and not really worry about the tires as much. Some guys might be thinking, you know what, this is starting to stretch out, and wow. Great timing. Caution on the track for the first time, as I'm about ready to say. There hasn't been a caution yet.
Seeing it's Josh Mueller back here at the entry of pit road. And Brandon, this one looking like it might be a self-spin out of turn 4. Very easy to do, like I said early on. Let's go ahead and check it out with a Sparkle and Shine mobile detailing rec replay.
There is that 26, and Josh Mueller, one of the guys that's very close to that cut line right now, entering tonight. He looked good. Oh, came up. Whoa, hello.
Wow. We always get a little chuckle when we see that because of the physics here on iRacing, but unfortunately, that is big time damage for the 26 of Josh Mueller. Let's go ahead and take a look at that from Travis Anderson's perspective here. He's running in this Truck Series race tonight. That's who gets in to Josh Mueller here. Just looks like it's a lot more run off of turn number 4. And Mueller and them just coming together right there. Might put that one down as a racing incident, but you heard that engine blow. The 88's night is done.
Wow, that is just unlucky there for Travis Anderson, blowing the engine on that contact. That tells me that the net code was pretty strong as well. That kind of launched that thing up in the air for the 26. But, I mean, yeah, you could say racing incident. You could say that Anderson was holding a line. It just might have been a little bit more down the track than what Josh was expecting. And Josh was trying to ride up that exit and try to not scrub off any more speed, and just kind of met in the middle there.
Let's see how many takers we get. Only 5 laps run on those sets of tires under green flag. Let's see how many people stay out. Looking like everybody coming down so far. That 47 and 46, though, staying out. So maybe a little bit of strategy from JW Racing to get some track position. Jonathan Byer also opting to stay on out there.
Well, the teams that are strategy kings most of these weeks deciding that they're going to stay out on the racetrack, and everybody else, wow, really everybody else coming down pit road. And that's going to tell you how important the tires are on this racetrack. The fall off, you're looking at a couple of seconds from the start of a run to the end of a run. That's going to be significant. And some of these guys here, they were just kind of sitting back and letting that race play out a little bit. So they might be thinking they didn't abuse their tires a whole lot. They're going to be just fine. And taking that track position, getting the clean air. They don't want to be stuck in that dirty air where everything just gets all kind of imbalanced out there on the racetrack. So they're taking this shot at it, thinking that maybe they were conservative enough on these tires that they're going to be just fine.
Yeah, interesting to see the difference out here. So we got 5 guys that stayed out here. Trevor Williams, Lane Doyle, Jonathan Byer, Jacob Zala, and Kyle Ryan all opting to stay out. And then you got a couple guys deciding to take 2 tires. That's Lucas Lyons, Bobby Anderson coming out 6th and 7th. And then the rest of them taking 4 tires, except Lingerfeld back at 15th. So we'll see how it works out. And this is the time to do it, Brandon, when you have a lot of laps to make it up if it doesn't work.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of like that idea right now, and there's not so much wear on those left side tires, and this is a track that really doesn't abuse the left side tires to begin with. So I kind of like this idea. Test it out, see if that's something that's viable. The other thing is too, they're protecting. If they were thinking that people were just going to maybe go splash and go, try to jump up there and just make sure that they got the fuel to make sure that they would be good on one more stop. That 2 tire call not really going to hurt them too bad if anybody did do that. Nobody did. They're still holding a pretty solid spot with some fresh right side rubber. See how that plays out for the 7 and the 18.
Yeah, and Ryan Johnson up to 8th now. He's plus 21 on the night. Looking like he might not have come down pit road there. Still not showing a pit stop for him. But surprised to see. Didn't even realize that Ryan Johnson started most of the way in the back tonight, has made his progress up towards the front. He was one of the fast guys in practice, believe that he was 3rd in happy hour.
3rd in happy hour, and some guys, this track really wants you to be more aggressive than you should be out here, and so that there's a couple of guys that had speed, possibly got into a little bit of a slider out there on the racetrack, and nothing is worse than lap 1 of your qualifying run, sliding it on the exit of turn 4. You're killing both laps at the same time if that happens. Very likely that could be the situation. And actually looking at the chat, I believe we're seeing a lot more fuel-only pit stops, actually. I think that's Lucas Lyons actually saying he went fuel-only.
Gotcha. Showing his cards out there in the field. We'll see how it works. Not too much wear on these tires early on, but fresh tires, as we saw last night, was king, even with this short a distance on them. So we'll see how it works out. 2 JW Racing trucks at the point as the pace car comes down pit road, and that Silverback Tax Solutions green flag getting ready to wave again here at Fontana.
So the JW Racing teammates side by side as they cross the stripe. It's Trevor Williams chose the outside, and that's something we saw a whole lot last night. And I can tell you, if the leader takes that outside line all the way back, gets such a good launch out there on the racetrack, even more than you kind of anticipate, just because you can carry so much more momentum. Real tight racing there. We saw him coming right at the camera between Cardulo and Techmeyer. Both of them good, no damage, no contact, and they keep it going straight down that back straightaway.
I love these cameras that are right on the wall because it just shows how wide this track is and how much racing room we're seeing out there tonight. Oh, big hit there for Jacob Zoll. Oh, no, that's the 36, I believe. Yeah, that's Austin Purnell going around.
Still wrecking hard. Oh, my.
Blair
huge
Holloman
wreck.
involved right there, too. Jason Cracky, one of those guys sitting on the cut line. So some big-time developments here. Let's go ahead and check out that Sparkle and Shine mobile detail and rack replay for the second caution of the night.
Well, Noah saw Nick Halda damaged. There's Austin Purnell getting loose, and wow, hard hit to that outside wall. He came right down to Zachary Bergeson. Jason Kratke nowhere to go, trying to lock it up, figure out where he was going. Not sure if Rob Yost missed that or if he barely caught a piece.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and take that above. Let's see. Let's watch this from above. Got too many cameras here, Brandon. Got to scroll through all these. Give me a second. Let's go ahead, pull up that far chase cam here. And yeah, this is a big overcorrection here by the 36. Sends him aggressively into the wall. and right in front of the whole field. Big time damage for a lot of these guys sitting real close to that cut line. We'll actually take a look at that line here in a second. So big wreck here. Obviously that one going to go on the 36 with a self spin early on. That caught a lot of guys in that second caution.
Yeah, that is a huge wreck. Looking at about 8, 9, maybe 10 trucks all caught up. I was wondering if Yost squeezed his way through there. Looks like he did clip one of those trucks in that wreck just a bit and picked up some damage. So I'm thinking it's about 10 trucks, a lot of them within that 7th to 20th position in the point standings. That is going to be a rough position for some of those guys tonight.
Yeah, well, this is a look at that 15th, that tie for 15th there on back to 18th, I believe. Or actually, yeah, 18th. So that's Bobby Anderson, Jason Cracky, and Josh Mueller sitting below the cut line. And like I said, we just saw Jason Cracky involved in that one. Josh Mueller already been involved in an incident tonight. And Bobby Anderson having a great night so far, even though it's early on. He's currently 9th place after qualifying 5th. But then you got Yost, who was potentially caught up in that that last wreck, and sitting 5 points up. You are not safe by any means.
Just kind of chicken scratch notes here. Blair Holloman involved 8th in points. Nick Halda involved 10th in points. Rob Yost involved 15th. Kratky 18th. Mueller 19th. Fox 20th. Purnell 22nd. Huge point implications of that major wreck.
Yeah, and then you got Sean Jensick also having a pretty good night so far in that beautiful red and black Sparkle and Shine mobile detailing. Ford F-150 for Rat Pack Racing. So would be not surprised at all if Jensick has a great run here tonight. And so far, so good. He is one of the furthest up trucks that did come down pit road that last time by. So we'll keep an eye on this cut line battle all night long because 4 weeks to go. Not much time to make up some ground, so we're going to keep an eye on it here at the end of this regular season.
Absolutely. And you know what? I mentioned, well, we got one to go to green, actually, so I don't know if this is the right time to do that. Mentioned Blair Holloman being involved. That's possible that he did miss it and just kind of spun into the grass. Maybe a little bit of minor damage there, but that truck not looking too bad. So I do want to give a little shout out to Jillian in the chat for kind of pointing that out. Took a look at that truck. That wasn't as bad as it looked. Might have just spun it into the grass and just picked up a little left side damage.
Yeah, you got to take care of the front end, and that is looking pretty good. So the arrow should not be messed up too bad. A little bit of crinkle there on the left front, but yeah, overall good save there for Blair Holloman. He's back in the 23rd position. He's got a lot of ground to make up after starting 10th this evening. So 2 JW Racing trucks still at the front of this one. Trevor Williams going to opt to restart on the outside lane, something we saw a lot last night. Just really helps to get that big run down the front stretch and kind of run the middle to high lane early on and get the big run on these straightaways.
Yeah, we talk about the cold tires and just being pinned down to that inside just makes the turn radius that much tighter, makes it that much easier to slide. Outside line, not looking too bad this week so far.
Yeah, so that's Silverback Tax Solutions, green flag waving again here at Auto Club. Trevor Williams getting a good jump over his teammate. I have to imagine they were working a little bit, so they get a good jump on the rest of the field. That's Jonathan Byer there in the 3rd position, followed by his teammate Jacob Zala in 4th, with Kyle Ryan also in 5th place. So JBR looking real strong here because Landon's up here in the top 10 as well. Could be making up some ground in these team championship standings.
Big run here on the inside for Lucas Lyons, trying to close the door on Kyle Ryan, who's running the 91 on track, notified as the 35 on the scoring pylon. But then we got nice side-by-side racing here as these tires starting to warm up once again, as everybody had to get cold there for a little bit with a lot of caution laps. Just takes about a lap or so, but once you get there, with a little bit of wear on those tires already, those things are going to be gripping just fine here at this point.
Yeah, so keeping an eye on this battle for 6th here. Landon Cardula getting a big run to the outside of that 29 of Sean Jensick, so he's making a push here to move on up, and he is side by side heading into turn number 3. He's going to keep this high lane, might be able to get another big run, maybe make a move to the outside, and there he goes on by Kyle Ryan now. Landon looking really fast Whoa, and 29 comes up right in front of Bobby Anderson, and Bobby does a great job to do just what he did and cross over the 29 and avoid that wreck. And gets on by him too, so move Bobby up to 7.
And Bobby had a good run last night. Unfortunately, when I kind of ran out of a little bit of room and had a hard time collecting it after that one. Unfortunately, he was one of the drivers that kind of got caught up in the stack up behind that one, but he was having a great race as well last night, and recreating that here again tonight, racing tight for a top 5 run here. So we're about a quarter of the way through.
We're 4 wide going through 3 and 4 there, and Landon is not wasting any time. He wants that lead, knows he's got the fresher tires out of these guys, and he is looking fast right on the bumper of the 46.
Man, oh man, 4 wide, and you don't see that at too many racetracks. This is one of the few that you can pull it off. You could pull off 5 wide if you really wanted to, though I do not recommend it. 4 wide, exciting enough. How about 3 wide for the lead now?
Yeah, it's a JW. Oh, big wreck back here. That's Jacob Zala and Bobby Anderson. They're going through the infield here. Big hit for Jensik, too. One of those cut line drivers we just talked about.
My goodness, and nightmare for them. Caution does not come out as they cycled off the racing surface down to the infield. They came off the track. No caution. We stay green.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and check out a Sparkle and Shine Mobile detail and wreck replay there, because that was a big one for some big-time names here. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Yeah, you just see it happen in front of Sean Jensik here. Zala gets into Bobby Anderson. Lucas Lyons there, too, with a big-time hit for that 7 truck. A lot of big names. Another name up here in the top 15, top 20, looking to make their way into the playoffs. So a lot of developments early on here in tonight's race in the midway point of the season. Not the time to have a bad week.
Not the time at all, and it's a great time right now if you're in JBR, because you're sitting there, Cardullo and Byer starting to check out just ahead of a JW Racing pair of Williams and Doyle. Doyle and Lyons were the two that kind of got together there. Zala and Doyle were the two that just got together there, similar to what we saw with Mueller and Anderson. I think one just kind of thought the other was going to be a little bit higher up. A little bit of contact turned one right into the wall, collected even more. And you talk about the point implications. We're now to the point that 15th, the tie for 15th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, and 24th in points, all involved in incidents tonight early.
Yeah, well, one of those drivers, you picked him tonight, who is close to that cut line, but's got a little bit of gap, is having a good run up to the front, started 26th tonight. Jose is up to 8th place, and you said he's very good here, and looking like that is just the case here so far, as we are on lap 20 here, getting this thing done quickly tonight. Looking like you made a good pick there, Brandon.
Yeah, that's just one of those flowing rhythm style of ovals, and that really works well for Jose. Being a teammate with him for the first couple of seasons there, got to be familiar with his driving pretty well. This is just a good racetrack for him. Really good at Auto Club, Michigan. These kind of places where you can just kind of get into that flow. And that's kind of where he really excels, and you can see that by him making all these moves up through the field. Being able to miss those 2 big wrecks helps as well, but sitting in a pretty solid position.
Yeah, these guys were just 3 wide back here. Kyle Lingerfeld to the inside now. Troy Techmeyer. Techmeyer currently running in the 10th position in that Nebraska Cornhuskers Chevy Silverado. So Troy, one of those guys needing a decent run here tonight, doing just that so far, but let's go ahead and check out and check in on the current butt kicker hard charger so far in tonight's race. And it's going to be this 91 here being scored as the 35 on the scoring pylon. But he is currently our butt kicker hard charger of the night at plus 25 so far.
And Kyle putting together a really good run. Part of that coming from staying out there on that original pit stop or the original caution, making up that position. But like we were saying, clean air goes a long way here. Yes, the draft is helpful, but if you get stuck behind side-by-side racing, anything like that, really easy for some disturbed air to really mess with the handling of your truck. So getting out there out in front was a good call. Not a whole lot of wear on those tires at that point. So these guys that are made that decision that we were kind of wondering how it was going to pan out, they're still sitting there first through fifth.
Well, Landon Cardulo starting to put a little distance between second place. He's got a second gap between him and Jonathan Byer, but this battle for second now heating up. Trevor Williams going to the inside of the 66 of Byer. Williams trying to get that second position as they go side by side into turn number 1. And then, hey, 47 and Lane Doyle making a comeback after a little bit of a rough start. Looking real good as both JW Racing trucks looking to get up to the front.
Man, this is such a cool racetrack to run on because you can see that inside line, how deep Williams is able to push that truck. But at the same time, you can really protect pretty well on that outside line. There's so many different ways around here. That inside line a little bit flatter than the higher lines as there's a slight progressive banking at Auto Club. Really promotes those 3-wide, 4-wide style of racing where everybody keeps pretty level advantage. You do get that big runoff out of the exits on the outside, but you can just go so deep to the inside that you can really kind of stick with somebody there. It really makes for some great racing.
Yeah, this is one of the more favorable tracks, I feel like, in most opinions. I think a lot of people like Auto Club because it just promotes a lot of great racing. You heard from Ed Shearer last night, loves the fact that, iRacing put the multi-groove racing here, and it has really changed the game. Then we come out to Auto Club. So tonight we're seeing just that. A lot of guys opting to take those different lanes, and it can pay dividends when you get those big runs down the front stretch. Because like we saw at the beginning of the race with Lane Doyle, Brandon, he took a little bit and got loose off of 4, and all the way down the front stretch, he was a good 10 miles an hour slower, it seemed like, than the other trucks. Lost 9 positions early on.
Yeah, that was a big hit, but I mean, you can still recover pretty well as we're seeing now with Doyle back up to the 3rd position. I got a little distracted seeing almost a little bit of a sketchy moment there between Kyle Ryan and Trevor Williams. Not sure if there was a little bit of contact or if the 46 just got the air taken out from under him and just kind of kicked a little bit loose on the entry into 1, but no harm, no foul there for anybody. As go back to some tight racing here. This just outside the top 10. Ben Park holding the 12th position, 11th position. So you got Kyle Lingerfelt there in 10th, Ben Park in 11th, Harris in 12th, Kozier, Holloman, and cut away just as I was reading the name, Nathan Nixon right there as well in the mix.
Yeah, you mentioned Andrew Harris. He was our pole sitter tonight. He's already mired back in the 12th position. Looking like he's got some fast trucks trying to race him as well. So he's going to have his hands full trying to get back up towards the front. Just heard someone get into the wall, and I think that was Andrew Harris. Looking like he's fallen back a little bit, already back to 14th now after just talking about him not too long ago. So going to have some damage potentially on the right side of this 87 and a little bit there on the right rear, but not too much.
Yeah, I think the more concerning thing is looking at how crinkled that spoiler is, especially on the right rear. That's going to really mess with the handling on this truck, and it might not be as bad early, but as this run progresses and the truck starts tightening up as those tires wear, that's just going to amplify that feeling as he's hitting there, trying to get into a better groove, just going to make it that much tougher.
Well, back up front, nothing changing with our leader except the fact that he is just continually growing this lead over his teammate Jonathan Byer. But that battle back there for second kind of heating up now as he's got his teammate there, Kyle Ryan, running right to his outside now. So that 91 looking to get to that second position, potentially make a run at Landon Cardulo. So great racing from about second on back to 8th here with Jose Castellanos, the caboose in this train.
Man, we cut away for a couple laps. We come back, and all of a sudden it is 6-7 trucks all in this battle for the second position. Kyle Ryan going to hold that one now side by side and side by side behind him, as we also got Jose Castellanos, Lane Doyle kind of dropping back that little bit, maybe thinking, I don't want to be part of that hornet's nest right now, as you still have that little bit of ability here. We were talking about the draft earlier. As long as you're still within about a half second or so, you can really close up quickly on these straightaways.
Well, take a look at Bo Tiffany up into the top 5, looking for a little more. He wants the number that's on his door here, making a move for 4th place. Looking good in that in-and-out Chevy Silverado. And I got to give it a little shout-out because I'm personally one of those, big hit back there for Ryan Johnson.
Johnson into the wall. I think there was a little bit of a rebound contact to the 5 of Jose Castellanos. Somehow they both keep those trucks going straight. Castellanos kind of falling back a little bit, see if there's damage or if it's just trying to collect a little bit of that momentum, but he's still falling off a good bit. Ryan Johnson, the right side of that truck, all scuffed up now.
Yeah, that's big damage here for Auto Club, so he's going to be hoping for a caution to be able and get that fixed. And, you know, that just leads us right into talking. This guy hasn't had many bad races this season, Brandon, but not having a bad one so far, but it could get worse for this 48 after that hit to the outside wall. Currently running 7th, but 3 wins to his name. Like I said, 6 top 5s in 9 races with an average finish of 7.3, 169 laps.
Oh.
They make contact again there. Troy Techmeyer leaning on him a little bit through 3 and 4. So we're not accustomed to seeing Johnson have these types of nights.
Now, rough run thus far, though. If anybody in the field that can afford a rough night with the drop weeks and everything, it is Ryan Johnson. Still 99 points clear of that cut line. That is a 2-race advantage for max points. As one thing that did happen as we were watching that, Trevor Williams did make a pit stop. Remember, he was one of the drivers that did not come down under that first caution. I was sitting here thinking it was going to be about 38, lap 38, 39 with the cautions that we've seen thus far that we might see them have to come in. Ryan Johnson coming in early enough that he's still going to need one more stop the rest of the way.
Yeah, so we'll see how it works out. I mean, these guys are going to have to pit here soon. They only went about 6 laps on that first run, so we'll see how long it takes. But I believe these guys might be able to one-stop this to the end. Not so sure about Trevor Williams. So we'll see how the strategies tend to work out here at the end. But Jose Castellanos up to 7th place now. Brandon staring down Troy Techmeyer here in 6th. Lap car there, Lane Doyle running slow on the high line, getting these guys all out of their lanes here on the backstretch. But this was the big party here. We saw really racing hard, and it's kind of single file in and out now. But there we got Trevor Williams there to the inside on those fresh tires now.
Yeah, every now and then you start seeing a little bit of a sketchy moment, and then every single person goes, okay, maybe we should calm it down a little bit. And I think that's what we're seeing there is Ryan Johnson making his way onto pit road as well. A nice slide into the box there, right on the line. Did a good job there as we check back in. And that lead for Landon Cardulo was about 1.6 seconds. Last time we checked in on him, that is gone down to about a half second as he's got Kyle Ryan and Bo Tiffany closing in hard. As Bo Tiffany going for the double-double here, trying to make that pass on the inside line, and that might not be making friends with that run up the racetrack, but he had the power to pull that one off, and he's going to move to the 2nd position.
Yeah, so they've definitely been running him down. You can see it right here on the charts. This is Cardulo and Bo Tiffany. In the last 5 laps, it's gone from 2.2 seconds down to 0.7 of a second. So those little bit of fresher tires are definitely starting to pay off here on the long run. So we're going to keep an eye here because I feel like this battle for the lead might be heating up here in a little bit.
And honestly, if I'm Landon Cardulo, I'm sitting here thinking, you know what, at this point I can stretch it the rest of the way, or should be able to. Maybe I don't put up much of a fight here, just come in now, get those fresh tires, and try a bit of an undercut to protect that lead.
Yeah, so Bo Tiffany running it as an independent here in the Truck Series. He is a full-time Xfinity Series driver, so getting a little bit of practice before tomorrow night. It's exactly what you did last night, Brandon, and you said you had a great time out there. You had a good run until you unfortunately got into a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, it was hopefully for an unexpected top 5 there in a debut race, and was in that position. Slight mistake out there, and just kind of misread a situation a little bit. Got into the wall. Hate that other people got involved, but just the way it goes. It was a good run though, good time. It's a good time right now for Bo Tiffany though. As we see Jonathan Byer came in on that last lap. Landon Cardulo going to stay out on the racetrack, try to hold on to this lead position, but I don't think he's going to be able to do that too much longer.
Yeah, they're going to have to battle a little bit of fresher tires, too, on the outside. The 46 very fast as we head 3 wide into turn number 1. A good battle for the lead heating up as Bo Tiffany to the outside of Landon Cardulo. Give the 46 his lap back. He is back on the lead lap, but now Bo Tiffany to the point.
Man, not sure how anybody felt about that one. You got the oldest tires down on the far inside, the next oldest in the middle, and the fresh tires on the outside. That was a sketchy situation to be in for all three of those guys, but able to make it work, though Bo Tiffany going to pick up the lead for our first lead change in quite a while here under this lengthy green flag run. But thing to keep in mind, we're now at lap number 37 as Bo Tiffany crosses the stripe. Landon Cardulo and everybody else sitting here in a very good position to be able to just make it on one more stop.
Yeah, I think it's going to really pay off for these guys if it stays green to the end, but that's a big if. Whoa, gets real dicey back there between Ryan Johnson and Landon Cardulo. Those fast tires, fast times coming from those fresh tires. It's a big difference here at Auto Club. These guys really able to rip it around these turns, and it can really gain you some time if you play that strategy right and come down at the right time. So we'll see how it works out for these JW Racing trucks.
Yeah, I think they're timing it out pretty well. The thing is, it might be a little early. That's my only concern. But either way, the undercut compared to most of the rest of the field with these fresh tires, you're looking at a significant time advantage that they've been able to pick up. I mean, we're sitting here going about a second and a half, 2 seconds quicker. So before that last pit stop, before the pit stop, actually, the last lap before it, the 46 was running about the mid-43s. He's right back down, right at the 42-second mark on some of those early laps. So second and a half, the big difference on track.
Well, 7 laps being a big difference now between Bo Tiffany and Landon Cardulo, actually showing that they both pitted. So Bo Tiffany just really saving these tires really well. He's already built a second lead over Landon Cardulo. He's got Jonathan Byer, a lap down truck with fresh tires, coming up to his rear bumper right now. So he's going to be waiting for him to go on by, and Byer going to take the inside lane.
Oh, that was a rough situation as you had the 7 a little off pace there, still going around the racetrack. He was on the high side. Bo Tiffany caught him right at the exit. Jonathan Byer had the fresh tires. That is, man, we're seeing a lot of interesting placements here compared from fresh tires to old tires with these leaders. This has been some dicey moments out here.
Well, I think we're going to see Jose Castellanos. You see him right there as Blair Hallman coming down pit road this time. He's going to bring Sean Kozier along with him. That's Kyle Lingerfeld in front of him. Troy Techmeyer all coming down pit road. But yeah, Jose, we took a look at it as he was entering his stall. He overshot it, Brandon, and those few seconds can be very crucial under these green flag conditions.
Yeah, if you're on it perfectly and you miss it, but you quickly get back into that spot, might only miss about a second or so by the time you get around there. But if you're kind of unexpected, if you kind of bobble it a little bit, or if you're sliding in there in second gear and you kind of have to get back there a little bit more, as we've got the leader Bo Tiffany and Landon Cardulo both coming in, it just adds that little bit more time. A second you can live with. More than that, it starts really being a problem.
Yeah, you mentioned Landon coming on down as well with our leader Bo Tiffany, so they're going to come off with equal tires, and it's going to be a battle once this thing cycles out. But right now, Ben Park in that number 8 going to take over the lead in that Ford F-150. Brad Herman now up to second. Newcomer Kevin Asanio up to third, with Connor Cunningham in fourth and Rob Yost with fifth. And then Michael Madden and Nick Halda going to round out the truck drivers that have yet to come down pit road. Ben Park coming this time.
Oh, little clip of the grass there is a little maintenance there for the lawn at Auto Club Speedway, but the 8 of Ben Park onto pit road. Nice call there. Get the lap led for a bonus point. That's going to be very important for him as he came into this race 14th in points, just 17 to the good.
Yeah, so new leader going to be Brad Herman, and you're exactly right, Brandon. I can never preach it enough how important these bonus points are going to be come week 13. So very smart by the 8 to stay on out there. And Brandon, I kind of expect you to do the same tomorrow. You're in a battle there, a very tight battle there on the cut line, and it gets nerve-wracking here in the last couple of weeks. So a lot of nerves for these guys out there on the track tonight. Brad Herman coming down pit road.
And you're telling me about the importance of a point after last season being 1 point short of the playoff. Yeah, I can tell you that it's super important, doubly important. Bonus points carry over to the playoff as well, so that goes even farther out there. just making this even more important if you can lead a lap and happen to get out there to the playoff. As we got Herman and Asanio both coming in, that's going to give the lead over to Nick Helda should he stay out. And that's impressive. He was involved in that big wreck, had some heavy rear end damage there. Thought he was going to be in a little bit more trouble, but he's still out there giving it a go and now leading the way and picking up a bonus point.
Yeah, so looking like this thing going to cycle out to be Trevor Williams' lead once his teammate here, Nick Halda, comes on down pit road, and we will have completed a round of green flag pit stops that could potentially get a lot of these guys to the end of this one. A long green flag run here in the middle portion of this race. A great race so far, only getting started. We still got 27 laps to go here, and at the 2 mile oval, like Auto Club, Brandon, is a long race that is left.
A very long race that is left. And you know what? I'm a little surprised actually seeing Halda come in right now. 27 laps to go. There's not a whole lot of benefit to stretching it too much farther unless a caution comes out. Everybody else comes into pit. He came in on that last caution, after most everybody else. He still had about 5 or 6 laps of wiggle room left on that fuel mileage, I think, but decided, you know what, that field is coming. Got a couple teammates coming as well. Maybe thinking, I just don't want to be in the way of that. Come down pit road, get some fresh tires.
Yeah, you never want to be the last truck out there on old tires by any means. So comes on down pit road, knows he can make it to the end, even if he has a green-white caution, opts to stay out. He has some spare room in that fuel tank. But the battle heating up between teammates here. We didn't see too much battle in between tank racing teammates last night. Well, we see it here tonight between these JW racing trucks. Very close heading into turn 1.
Yeah, and you know what? Every time we think, hey, maybe they're going to start being kind of cautious with each other, maybe they're not going to race it too hard, they suddenly get into some good scraps out there on the racetrack, and then every now and then we sit there and think, okay, maybe they're just going to be aggressive this time, and then they don't do that. It's always hard to tell where JW Racing is going to be when it comes to this 1-2 style of racing.
Well, we got a battle
side by side.
Yeah, battle out of 4, Brandon, for the lead. Trevor Williams to the inside. Lane Doyle, a drag race down into turn 1. Give it to Lane Doyle. He takes the lead from his JW Racing teammate. Lane with 3-lap fresher tires, showing a little more speed out there right now.
And one thing to keep in mind, too, that truck right behind them, that is Jonathan Byer. Not sure what happened, but he is a lap down in 25th place, so not the third-place truck, even though he is right behind these leaders and closing. Not sure what happened there. I'm going to assume that would have been a pit penalty somewhere.
Yeah, it's a black flag showing a 56-second pit stop for Jonathan Byer, and I was actually going to mention it, Brandon, before that round of green flag pit stops. This is actually one of the trickier pit entries. Yeah, you have a ton of room on entry, but that cone that sticks out about 20 feet ahead of the wall can kind of sneak up on you sometimes, and looking like Byer might have gotten a speeding penalty that round.
Yeah, it's super difficult. You know, that cone's so far ahead of pit road, kind of deceives you a little bit. You also carry so much speed, and then you have a pretty sharp entry onto that pit road where it really flattens out for that tri-oval out in front where it's a D-shape oval around that front straightaway. Just a very deceptively difficult pit road to hit. Really easy to speed. Yeah,
so a battle back here between Kyle Ryan and Jose Castellanos. Jose with 3-lap fresher tires goes to the outside, it looks like here, of the 91. He's trying to make up some ground that he lost after overshooting his pit stall on those round of green flag pit stops. So some battles starting to heat up as we're down to 23 laps to go. You can see the hashtag go faster out there, Brandon. So we're pretty calm right now under green flag conditions. So we're going to go ahead, step aside real quick, take a quick commercial break.
Want to be a part of an established league on iRacing? A league that's competitive, fun, and above all fair? Look no further than Speed Racing Network. Originally known as Mid-South Madness, SRN has evolved into a league that can bring the best out in any given driver. Drivers work their way up through the ranks to hopefully one day call themselves a champion of Speed Racing Network. If you're interested in joining, don't hesitate to reach out to league admins to claim your spot today. Maybe you'll end up in the history books. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor in Speed Racing Network, feel free to head over to www.speedracingnetwork.com and reach out to an admin today. And as always, remember to go faster.
Silverback Tax Solutions specializes in dealing with IRS tax problems. If you are receiving threatening letters from the IRS, or if the IRS has placed liens or levies on your property, Silverback Tax Solutions can help you find relief. We have worked with hundreds of people to resolve their tax problems. If you're behind on filing your taxes, it's never too late to get on the right track. Silverback Tax Solutions can help with that also. Don't let another night go by where you lose sleep worrying about the IRS or your taxes. Head over to www.silverbacktx.com or call 662-996-4357 and contact an enrolled agent today. We can help you gain peace of mind and deal with those problems for you.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
All right, you guys did not miss one bit of the action. You can see it side by side the entire time, and thanks to all of our sponsors here on SRN. That battle not going away for the lead, though, Brandon, with 20 laps to go. Trevor Williams hanging in there just a quarter of a second back as Beyer was able to get on by Lane Doyle, put him back on the lead lap now.
And this is really interesting because normally as the race leader, you might be navigating a little bit of race traffic and trying to put people a lap down, but slightly more pace there for the 66 Jonathan Beyer, kind of holding him up a little bit as he's having to race him. And speaking of racing, good one for third as Bo Tiffany works his way around to go plus 19 on the night on Landon Cardulo, who's plus 8 in his own right. That the race for third.
Yeah, got a battle back here. This is for 19th position. Connor Cunningham trying to get on by James Kerr. He's going to maybe complete the pass here. Not able to do so just yet. But, yeah, this battle starting to heat up everywhere. Bo Tiffany, who we were just looking at, still 4.3 seconds back of our leaders. But he has a good amount of healthier tires. He's got 10-lap fresher tires in Trevor Williams, 7 laps on Lane Doyle. So a lot of time to pick up, Brandon. But with 18 to go, do you think he can get up here to these guys?
It's very possible, especially with these leaders really having to race tough with Jonathan Beyer, who is well within his right to be racing as hard as he is right now, trying to stay on the lead lap. Now, there is nobody one lap down, so even if he falls behind these two, he's still in the lucky dog position unless somebody else gets lapped. But there is traffic not far ahead, so that is a dangerous game to play. Beyer going to be pushing really hard to stay in front of these race leaders. It's almost like a 3-car race for the lead and how intense this is going to have to be.
Yeah, we saw Jonathan Beyer get his lap back. Next car in front of him, Nick Halda, these JW Racing Trucks teammate here. He was the last one to come down pit road on lap 43, so I think he's got some speed on these guys. He should be okay. But yeah, Beyer really fighting to keep his lap, and you're right, he does have the right to do just that. So Lane Doyle maintaining that about 0.2 of a second gap over the 46. See what other battles are happening out here. Looks like it's heating up between Bo Tiffany, Landon Cardulo, and Ben Park having a quiet, good night in that number 8.
This is a huge night for Ben Park in that 8 F-150. We talk about all the misfortune for guys 15th on back in the point standings. Ben Park entered this race in 14th. This is a tremendous opportunity for him to really start to open up a large gap to that cut line here as we get to the final 3 races in the regular season. A top 5 could do wonders for him and maybe put him into a great position where might not be able to clinch it next week, but might be in a spot where maybe after Iowa in a couple weeks he might be in that spot.
Yeah, so keep an eye on him as the weeks start to take off, but you can almost...
Pit stops.
Yeah, more pit stops coming. Lane Doyle coming down pit road. So the JW Racing trucks, knowing they cannot make it to the end, they're going to come down with 15 laps to go and give up their lead to Bo Tiffany. This now the battle for the lead, Brandon. A heck of a battle here between the top three.
Well, sometimes a very good battle goes to a great battle in terms of the circumstances, and we saw that circumstance just play out, and that answered the question. I was curious if those JW trucks were going to be able to make it. The answer, hard no for those trucks as they had to come down onto pit road. Great side-by-side racing as Ben Park with a big dive through 3 and 4, trying to get to the inside, just not able to carry that speed on exit as the high line prevails down the front straightaway.
Yeah, I have to imagine that they did have a little wiggle room left to go. Nathan Nixon, Kyle Ryan also coming down pit road, but don't want to take my eyes off this battle for the lead because it is very tight. But I have to imagine they had a few more laps to play with. But as you run those laps, yeah, you're trying to hope for a caution flag, maybe get a little luck here. But if you don't get it, you start to run out of time to make up time on the field. So they opted to take the risk, come down early, I think, with 15 to go. Gives them time to maybe make up some positions that they lose coming down early here. So, yeah, really shaking things up here now as Bo Tiffany takes over the lead, and he could very well claim his first win in SRN history here tonight. Looking bad fast in that in-and-out number 4 Chevy Silverado.
Man, that is a crazy thought that he hasn't done that yet. But out in front in a good position, Ryan Johnson is currently the only truck 1 lap down. So he's got the lucky dog as it stands, but trying to get unlapped, and he should be able to do that here pretty quickly on the fresh tires. Ben Park is kind of sitting there like, where do I go on this one? Do I follow the lap truck that's unlapping himself and try to get the pole there from the draft, knowing he's a lot faster, but that inside line at this point in the tire run doesn't seem to hold a lot of the speed. He was kind of bouncing back and forth on that inside line, outside line, trying to make a choice, and choice kind of got made for him there as Ryan Johnson now goes by Bo Tiffany and should be clear of him here coming off of turn 2, and there might not be a whole lot more help there for Ben Park here in a second.
Yeah, well, don't count out Landon Cardullo. You see how high he is running through these turns, getting a big-time run and having a drag race down the back straightaway. I couldn't tell you at this point which one of these 3 drivers could win it because each of them showing great speed and great pride out there trying to get each one of them trying to get their first win of the season.
First win of the season and first win in SRN. You know, you got a couple of guys out there going for it. Cardullo, it's been a little bit since we've seen him in victory lane. He talked about the podium drought last week when he came up to the booth after that top 3 finish a week ago at Dover, and you could tell he wants that win again. He wants to remind people that he's got those wins in that 13 Tundra. So we got 3 different makes all represented. 3 different motives all represented here. Like, Bo Tiffany doesn't have anything to really run for in this race. He's out here. He's an Xfinity Series regular, does part-time in the trucks, trying to get that win, build some momentum. Landon Cardullo trying to get that momentum for a possible title chase yet again. Ben Park just trying to get into the playoffs and maybe get a win. This is just exciting stuff in these final 10 laps.
Yeah, it is very exciting. And just take a look at this top 5. You got Tiffany Cardullo, Ben Park, Brad Herman, and Troy Techmeyer. And Sean Kosher sitting there in 6th. One of those guys needing a good night. Kyle Lingerfeld, Connor Cunningham, AJ Pritchett, and Ben Mueller all in the top 10. This has really been a great run, seeing some new guys up here at the front of this thing.
Yeah, we had just shook up the hat of names here in this one with what we've gotten used to seeing. All of a sudden, this field just flipped upside down. A lot of opportunity for guys. And one name that you mentioned there in 5th, Troy Techmeyer, we talk about the misfortune for 15th all the way down to 22nd. You can include 24th, Dan Park. Troy Techmeyer sitting there in 23rd in points, 29 points out. And with the misfortune of everybody else, this could be a massive night for the man in the 32.
Yeah, so seeing a lot of support for each one of these guys here in the top 3. Let me know who you're cheering on here with 9 laps to go. It's getting good. Right now, Bo Tiffany in control of this thing, but closely followed by Landon Cardullo, who has not given up. Both these guys pitted at the same time. They have the same amount of laps on these tires. It's going to be a fair battle all the way to the end. But, they got some lappers trying to get their laps back to shake it up a little, Brandon. 8 laps to go.
And one of them is the teammate of Landon Cardulo, and look at the tight racing.
Oh, wow.
Oh, whoa! Oh, little contact there, getting a little donut on the side of that In-N-Out burger truck. But that might be a difference maker there for Landon Cardulo to sneak down to the inside, as he got a bit of a pick from a teammate there.
Yeah.
Not able to sustain that too much. Bo Tiffany's still going to hang on, but it's a little bit closer than it was.
Not so sure. I'm a fan of the side drafting from someone trying to get their lap back, but Bo Tiffany maintaining the lead, but still closely followed by that 13 and the 8 hanging in there too, just 0.4 of a second back, but coming back to the stripe, he's going to get a good pull from that 66. So all three of these guys trying to draft their way to the end of this thing. 7 laps to go. Not going to take our eyes off this battle for the lead, because I do not think it is over. Wow, Jonathan Byer gets right in front of Bo Tiffany, going to kill his momentum through the center of the turn. Bo going to try and go below there and get a good run, but now Landon Cardulo going to take a look to the inside and use that momentum he gets down the backstretch. 3 wide heading to turn 3.
Super tight racing going down into 3. Ben Park closing right back into the tailgate of the 13 as well, as they're side by side for the lead. 13 Cardulo inside, 4 Tiffany outside, still side by side, exiting 4.
Yeah, Ben Park not sure who he wants to go with, but I believe the 13 gets a little loose there. 6 laps to go and loses that momentum, like we said, and you have to go all the way down these long straightaways. He falls back to 3rd, and now... Oh, for a second, I thought Jose was on the lead lap. I thought we were about to have a 4-way battle for the lead, so that's another lapper. Oh, the 13 and 8 get real close. And this is only helping the 4 of Bo Tiffany, now opening that gap up a little bit over these guys.
Yeah, this is just wild racing here with these lap traffic getting involved, and they're all on fresh tires working their way through, as Bo Tiffany's starting to edge out this gap just a little bit more. But again, if you're still close enough, you can get that pole down the straightaway. You can see him trying to get behind Jose to get a draft of his own, maybe trying to shake the draft that he's giving there to Ben Park, as Landon Cardulo is starting to fade a little bit more, and now it's becoming a bit of an aero game down these straightaways.
Yeah, so 5 laps to go. It's Chevy versus Ford versus Toyota. Any one of these guys could very well win it. Looking like Landon starting to fall off the pace. But right now, 2 possible first-time winners here in SRN going for it here. Bo Tiffany is a veteran here. Ben Park is a rookie here. Both want to park it in victory lane tonight.
Man, oh man, this is just awesome racing here. And for Ben Park, you kind of have to think, the win is great. How hard do you want to go for it, though? Do you want to risk it all with these points? You got to go. Like, that's the racer mentality. Big picture, though, man, this could hurt if he gives it a little too much. He's going to take a look to the inside. This is just great racing here, side by side through 1 and 2. Can he have the speed to hold on? Not quite this time as they hit the back straightaway.
These opportunities do not come up very often, Brandon. You and I both know when you get them, you got to take them. So I have to imagine if he gets the opportunity to do something here, he's going to try and put a move on Bo Tiffany, but Bo still looking very strong in that number 4 Chevy Silverado. Going to come to the stripe this time to take 3 laps to go. Ben now a 1/4 of a second back, looking like Bo has put about 2 car lengths between him and that 8 Ford F-150. So 3 laps to go. Can Bo get it done? Claim his first win of the season. We'll see.
And the thing I really like about this Ford truck right now is he's shown that he's able to hold really any line and hold good pace. If he's up high, if he's down all the way at the bottom, if he's running somewhere in the middle, he has been consistently fast no matter the line, and that is just so hard to get by somebody that's able to be a bit of a chameleon like that on the racetrack.
Yeah, so both running different lanes. Ben running a little lower. Bo going to run that 3rd lane. They both get a good run off of 4, coming to take the stripe. 2 laps to go. That's going to be a very long 4 miles for these guys trying, like I said, to get that first win in SRN. Not an easy thing to do. Who's going to get it?
Your guess is as good as mine at this point. All three of them, all within a second. These two, obviously the closest, Tiffany and Park. And if you're Ben Park, you got to start thinking, all right, what can I do different here in this next set of turns? Do I want to try to run the wall? Do I want to see if that's going to work? You got to see if you can do something different from Bo Tiffany, because what he's doing right now is just keeping enough of a gap that it's making it where he can't get to that tailgate to maybe try to make a move here as we come to the white flag.
Yeah, one lap to go, crossing the stripe. Next flag will end it, and it is not over. Your guess is as good as mine. I have to imagine Ben is going to make an attempt to make a move on this number 4. He's going to send it in there, run the higher line this time, maybe try to get some momentum down the backstretch. Loses some time there on entry. He's going to try and get a bigger run on the backstretch, but Bo with a 0.3 of a second gap between him and the 8, looking good for the 4. One more set of turns.
Yeah, he's in a good spot. Quarter of a second. It's going to take something, either a mistake from the 4 or a miracle run here on this final set of turns from the 8. But Bo Tiffany looks like he's in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, he sees the white, or the checkered flag, waving. Ben Park is in the wall. This thing is all Bo Tiffany's. He is a winner here, and SRN gets his first win in, well, I think he's been here for 3 or 4 seasons. This is an awesome moment. I know he is going to be ecstatic. Even though he's not running for points, this means a lot for him.
Man, what a finish. Great racing there at the end, and just had to go a little bit animal style here at that paint scheme tonight to be able to park that thing in victory lane. Bo Tiffany finally finding the checkered flag, and man, that's just a feel-good moment there. Well done for him. Great racing between he and Ben Park those last few laps. Landon Cardulo had a hell of an effort as well to round out the top 3. Just a great run there, and then we had a big shakeup in points behind them.
Yeah, it's gonna, I don't envy Sean Griffith right now. He's gonna have his hands full putting this in his little Excel spreadsheet. A lot of shakeups gonna be happening here tonight. So Bo Tiffany parking it on the front stretch. Oh, I think he's gonna do a burnout here, Brandon. Just take it in the moment.
Wondering if there's something in mind, or I mean, they didn't add on the latest update that you can get out of the car and actually get the flag, so I'm not sure what we're looking at here, but he's just going to sit there on the line and yeah, just I guess enjoy the moment.
I'm telling you, this means a lot for Bo. Brandon, you're one of those guys looking to get their first win on the season too. It's hard to do in this league, and yeah, just gonna take the humble brag here and just take it straight to victory lane. That's how excited he is to be a winner here. So let's go ahead and check out the results from tonight's race. Brandon, I just think he just really wants to get up here and talk to us, so he just expedited that process a little bit. But Bo Tiffany is your winner here tonight. Ben Park, a valiant effort for Dark Tank Racing, comes home in second, looked really strong here tonight. Landon Cardulo going to round out the podium finish. Brad Herman and Connor Cunningham rounds out the top 5.
You went for one to really get up to the booth. I'm thinking of Seinfeld. You tell the great joke and just leave. You had your moment, get out of there. But meanwhile, behind that top 5, Kyle Lingerfelt will be our 6th place finisher. Troy Techmeyer, a big points night for him in the position that he was in. He'll finish in 7th. Sean Kozier will be in 8th. Blair Holloman, nice recovery in 9th. Debut race in a top 10 for Kevin Asanio. He will be in the 10th position.
Yeah, awesome race for Kevin. Welcome to the league and making his name known here early on in that number 12. So Daniel Park also with a solid run. The Park brothers having a great showing here tonight. Comes home in 11th. Good run for Dark Tank Racing there in 2nd in those team championship standings. They're going to make up some ground on JW, who just the strategy didn't go their way. Michael Madden, quiet night, comes home in 12th place. Lane Doyle comes home 13th. Trevor Williams in 14th. Rob Yost Jr. there in 15th.
16th place will be Kyle Ryan. Nathan Nixon will be in 17th. Jose Castellanos will be in 18th place. Ryan Johnson, points leader, a rare finish outside of the top 15. He'll be in 19th place. Nick Halda will round out the top 20 and also round out the field on the lead lap in the 20th position.
Yeah, so let's go ahead, track down Landon Cardulo. There he is. Let's go ahead and bring him on up into the SRN broadcast booth. Landon Cardulo, congratulations on the top 3 here tonight. We're starting to make this a thing now, huh? About halfway through the season. Coming home in second last week, third here tonight. How's it feel after a hard-fought battle there at the end, man? Didn't come away with it, but you made a valiant effort there. Tell us about your night.
It was a good night. Solid throughout the whole race. Had a really fast truck. It's nice to finally be on the positive side of a fuel strategy race. Everybody's strategy was different, so that was pretty cool. Like I said, truck was fast. Hopefully we can get it back up there to start winning. But I know middle of pit stop cycles, I had a lap truck kind of hit me in the rear, so it definitely made my truck a lot tighter for that end of the run stint. So, but all in all, solid night.
A very solid back-to-back top 3 finishes. You're sitting there. I think there's only one race this season outside of the top 11 in this entire run. So it's not like you haven't been consistently fast, just now getting a little bit faster as we get to the final 3 races in the regular season. And we're getting to a lot of these mile-and-a-halfs as well where you've seen success. How's that feel, hitting that to this point in the season with the playoffs really quickly approaching?
Definitely excited. I know me and my team probably went over the schedule 30 times just to look at the upcoming races, and they all, fit our driving style. So excited, and hopefully just to keep this, momentum going.
We'll definitely keep it going next week into Las Vegas. How you feeling heading out west? Kind of close to where you're from. You're an Arizona boy.
Yeah, it's. I know the track very well. I've been there many, many times in real life. Take pictures there too for NASCAR. So, I know it's a bit different when you're actually driving. But it's. I know the layout. I know the points to where to brake and all that. If there even is braking, which we haven't really seen much this year. So, I'm excited. Like I said.
Well, before we let you go, Landon, you got any friends, any family, any sponsors you want to give a quick shout out to?
Absolutely. Want to just thank my family once again. My grandparents, they always watch me, so it's good to have them supporting. Same with my aunt and uncle. Also want to thank our sponsors, Glitch, Star Tool and Die Works, Z Grills. We also have a bunch of other good sponsors out there, and like I said last week, without them, we can't make this possible. So.
Well, you're making them proud, man. 2 straight top 3s. Maybe make it a win next week when we head out west. So have a good night, man. Congrats again. Have fun celebrating with the teammates, and maybe we'll be talking to you once again next week.
Sounds good, guys. Thank you.
All right. That was Landon Cardulo, who came home in the 3rd position for back-to-back top 3s. Like I said, let's go ahead. Bring up Benjamin Park, who has been sitting patiently in the broadcast waiting room. Ben, congratulations on the runner-up. I know you wanted one more spot, had a great battle there with Bo Tiffany at the end, but just to come away with a 2nd place finish tonight in your rookie season, how's it feel to kind of start seeing some results?
Man, it feels great. I'm super pumped about that race. Came up just short.
Just short in the smaller picture with the race, but that 2nd place finish, along with about a dozen or so guys behind you in the point standings, all having really rough runs, getting caught up in one of those 2 early wrecks, especially that big 2nd one. That's just going to give you a lot of a buffer going forward into these final 3 races here in the regular season. Might be looking at a playoff position in your rookie year if you can finish it off here these last 3 weeks. How are you feeling about the final 3 here in the regular season?
That's what I'm shooting for. I want that championship. I'm working hard for it.
Well, let's start.
Got it.
Oh, sorry, man.
I just had a long way to catch up. I'm getting there.
All right, man. Well, glad to be talking to you here tonight. Congrats again on the runner-up finish. But before we let you go, Ben, you got any friends, any family, any sponsors you want to give a quick shout-out to?
Yeah, I got to thank all the sponsors: Burgesson Farms, Boss Security, Berg Arts, Curran Dental, Hunter Dun Anesthesia, Associates, Park Brothers Racing, Parkway Lanes, Teespring, Healthcare Billing, EWRL. And I want to thank you guys for putting on a great show every week.
Oh, we appreciate that, Ben, and we appreciate you putting on some great racing out there. This one potentially going to be one of the top 10 finishes in the first half of the season. We'll see if I can get that put together for everybody, man. So congrats on a great run here and potentially making a run towards the playoffs. We'll see how it works out when we get out to Las Vegas next week. Good luck, man.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right, well, that was Ben Park out of Dark Tank Racing coming home in the second position. But, Brandon, I'm very excited. I love talking to some first-time winners, and we got Bo Tiffany parking it in victory lane here tonight. Bo, tell me, man, what's going on in that head right now?
Ran out of fuel.
Oh,
I crossed the stripe and ran out of fuel down the backstretch. I was a half a lap to the goods. I was pedaling it there, hoping the 8 wasn't going to catch me. I've been saving. So it's good to get the monkey off the back finally.
Yeah, it came at a really good time too. With tomorrow night, everybody's still in that really tight race for that final playoff spot, making the playoff spots, I should say. And get to these final races, big bit of momentum here tonight in the truck race. How much of that's going to translate to tomorrow night?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, these things drive different. That's how come I started 22nd. I was in our team practice for Xfinity car and then jumped over here to qualify. So, and I got free off of 2. That car drives totally different than the truck, especially qualifying. So, I mean, it's good for passing cars, but I don't know, man. It was an awesome race tonight. Congrats to everybody. I mean, it was a pretty good, clean race there, except a couple cautions. I almost hesitated not to take tires on that first caution. I'm glad I did, because that's what really got me the track position coming up through the green flag runs there.
well, tell me, were you ever in doubt before you got to that start-finish line to take the checkered flag? You potentially weren't going to make it, and Ben Park was going to steal it. You guys had an amazing battle there for first and second, especially when Landon Cardullo was up there as well for the top 3. Were you worried that you were going to run out, possibly miss out on this first win with that 8 so close?
Yeah, because between Benjamin and Landon there, I wasn't sure because I think Landon pitted a lap after me. So I was looking at the fuel calculator, and I was like, he's going to be one more to the good than I am. And I let him go there and was just trying to pull his draft around, and then we kind of swapped positions. I see he was saving fuel, so I don't know. I think a little bit of luck there. Probably at the end, just happened to pit just right, and we just, I think all 3 of us were probably pretty much within a lap of each other on the same strategy.
Well, man, you get the monkey off your back, like you said, claim your first ever SRN victory. Maybe make it back-to-back tomorrow in the Xfinity Series race where you're racing for points in the championship standings. But before we let you go, Bo, you got any friends, any family, any sponsors you want to give a shout-out to?
Yeah, of course, my wife and my parents, everybody that watches the streams, and of course, you guys do an awesome job. The broadcast is awesome. Everybody applauds it, and Rob Yost and Zoo Yost for letting me play around with the trucks with them. It gives me a little bit extra practice, and of course, Duke with Rat Pack and everybody, and I teamed up with David Daniel and everybody at Highline to really improve on our Xfinity program. So everybody's doing really good there. So just thankful to everybody that runs in this league. We all seem to do pretty good together. So,
well, we appreciate the nice little shout out, man, and we're super pumped for you. We love seeing first-time winners. Well deserved here tonight. Had a very fast truck in that number 4 Chevy Silverado. So we'll see you out there tomorrow night, man. Congrats once again. Have fun celebrating.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Can't do a burnout for you because I ran out of fuel, but I guess we'll get on a plane, go get an In-N-Out burger, and go from there.
Just have to do it tomorrow, man. Save a little fuel for the celebration.
That's right.
All right, buddy.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
guys. All right, later.
Man, Brandon, a first-time winner here in SRN. Not often that we see that in thrilling fashion at that as well. A great race to the end.
Yeah, absolutely a great race to get the first win. And, you're talking about In-N-Out. I'm sure there's the one not too far away from that racetrack out in Fontana, though sadly it's virtual, and I'm not sure where Bo is, but probably not around where he is. But yeah, I mean, that's a big win for him, especially, like I was talking about, how close everything is in the point standings on the Xfinity side. Just any little bit of momentum, any little bit of confidence that you can get going around this racetrack, or just with a good finish. If you feel like you kind of got one of those bad runs going, you get a good finish there. Just kind of gives you that little bit, stick your chest out a little bit, gives you a little bit more out there, and kind kind of has me worried about it tomorrow. Actually, seeing that somebody I'm closely against in the points has a win here tonight before going into that one.
Well, hey, I saw you in your practice session. You're going to do well as well. But, you know, you saw a great race here tonight. How you feeling about tomorrow? It's an 80-lap race in the Xfinity Series to wrap up our week here in Auto Club, but crunch time. And out of the 3 series, that's the one with the closest battle there on the cut line. So a lot is going to happen in the next 4 weeks. How you feeling about tomorrow?
I mean, you don't have to tell me about how close it is. I'm the one that, man, it's a theme. 1 point out right now again. But, yeah, no, it should be a great race. You know, we kind of saw that flurry of cautions in the Cup race yesterday. We saw, you know, the 2 early ones here and then green the rest of the way tonight. Hopefully we kind of get a little bit more like tonight, let this thing be decided out there on the racetrack with some passing. But, you know, it's Auto Club. It's always some great racing out there. The Xfinity cars handle so different from the trucks and the Cup cars. I think it's going to make a very different race than what we've been seeing, but it should still be a very good race. You know, just always bodes well when we come to these 2-mile D-shaped ovals. Just always good racing.
Absolutely. So come on back tomorrow, same time, same place. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe, and hit that little bell so you know anytime we go live. We'll be here 9:20 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday for that pre-race show, taking the green flag around 9:32 p.m. So it's going to be a great one. Definitely tune in. Heating up out there as the playoffs are looming. But your winner here tonight going to be Bo Tiffany, and that's going to do it for us. So for everybody behind the scenes, myself and Brandon Domain, we wish you all a good night and go faster.